Liberation Day is in 2 days. Are you ready? We're going to talk about that and how it may affect the crypto markets and markets in general. I'd like to welcome up my co-host Juan G. How are you doing today, sir?
Another wonderful day in the crypto space. So excited to be here.
And gold, which we will also talk about in a few minutes here. Okay, so for those of you that are curious what we're talking about, if you live under a rock, in 2 days is going to be what the President of the United States is calling Liberation Day. He's going to be announcing the different tariffs and who's affected, who's not affected, and of course the what industries are affected most. But from what we're hearing, it's pretty much going to be everything. So in the video, we're going to go over the Bitcoin chart, all the data. We're going to touch on a little bit of pie news, talk about gold, and then we'll circle back and see what we can possibly expect in 2 days on April 2nd. So I guess we'll start right off here with the gold chart. Okay, here we go. Gold currently is at 82,305. As you can see, we've had 4 days of red candles downturn. We did close the CME gap up here at 84,008, 84,007 approximately, which was a good sign. Many people thought that it might close that gap and then continue upward as we were doing or showing a bit of an uptrend here. But unfortunately, the markets had other ideas. We did close that gap and then we continued down. So today we are actually down pretty much even on the day, I guess you could say, down 0.09%. On the day for that one. So I'm going to turn it over to the, pardon me, the ETF inflows for Bitcoin. I'll give this a refresh. We were on a 9-day inflow streak there, but as you can see Friday, today's won't be reflected yet, but Friday's was an outflow day of 93 million in the ETFs. Not good to see. Obviously, there's still a little bit of fear in the market because of what's going on with the whole tariff thing and the presidential decisions down south. In case you forgot, I'm up here in Canada, the Great White North. Okay, so I also wanted to show the CBBI. Haven't shown this one in a little while. It takes all the major indicators in the crypto space that people really rely on, like the pi cycle top, the Newpol, the Peel multiple, etc. I'm going to give this a refresh and see where we are. And we're at a 66. So as you can see, we are nowhere near a cycle top according to these indicators. I mean, there are some that are saying we did hit the top already when we hit that 108,000, 109,000. But most people tend to believe that this is just kind of a correction. The macro isn't doing very well right now, and it's a wait and see market. So we'll go with that for now anyway. All right, Juan, so what do you take, well, from the last week since Thursday's stream? What are you seeing in the overall market, and what do you expect to see coming when Liberation Day comes on Wednesday?
So first, I would say that when you kind of look at the overall market, we kind of discussed it last Thursday. So those who joined our stream already probably took advantage of Bitcoin's drop. We kind of foresaw that, right? I'm attributing a lot of it due to the ETP that was launched in Europe, and I don't think it was a successful launch. And obviously, like I said, for me, if you launch a product and it didn't do well, hey, we are where we are now, right? Like that's why you saw that dip. And then when you kind of also look at what's going to come, right? You look at the price and the chart, you have a nice trend line showing that you could bounce off of there. But what I liked is that doji was kind of forming today, right? There's a lot of indecision. There was an upswing, there was a downswing. So that means that there's a current conversation going on where BTC should go. So this is for us as regular buyers, wait and see if it's going to try to touch that trend line and bounce off of that, which is what you kind of want to see. You want to see that strong push showing that, hey, we're going to form a solid support line right here off that bounce, right? So hopefully that happens. And then all we can do is just wait for it to go up. But then Liberation Day can cause a lot of volatility, right? And does that mean BTC can go below expected numbers? Yeah, it could, right? People just look for excuses to kind of have prices go out of its range. So a lot of these things are going to play a role, and And that's just for BTC, but there's also a lot of external factors. And if you look at gold, it's giving people challenges with their own everywhere around the world, the value of their own currency. So because again, right, gold is just outpacing growth everywhere.
It is. And speaking of gold, I actually got it up on the screen right now. Might as well show it. It has made, actually, was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Gold made an all-time high. Oh, sorry, my bad. Hold on. There we go. Made an all-time high yesterday at 3,127.91. So as you can see, I mean, there's no denying. We've been following gold for a while. Gold is something that you follow very, very closely, and there's no denying this uptrend. It's just, with the macro being so uncertain, this just kind of enforces the rumor or the speculation or the overall sentiment that gold is the store of value currently, and it has been for a little while. And it holds true with the price action that gold has had recently. People are just kind of flocking to it. And you had made an analogy a few weeks back, Juan, that you felt that even though Bitcoin is a speculative asset, risk asset, so to speak, risk on, a lot of people, with the uncertainty in the market and everything that has been going on recently, especially, that people were kind of selling off, possibly selling off their crypto or their Bitcoin and putting it into gold, where they felt it's a little bit of a safer bet. And anyone that did, obviously, according to the chart anyway, has made the right decision.
Totally agree. We talked about it, I think, a few weeks ago about it reaching 3,100 and above. That's where it's aiming at. You saw the next W pattern being formed. We talked about that, and here we are, right? Just crushing it on gold. And so again, congrats to all those who listen to our streams and were able to take advantage of the price volatility and the price movement, because again, $100 move since that conversation. So that's not an easy feat for any coin to do, let alone gold. And it's attributing really to, I think, the shift in mindset, not just from people, but banks. Banks are loading up on gold. And again, because they need to have a store of value. As I think the uncertainty that has been created by the new administration is making people nervous, and gold is the place to be right now. Now, trust me when I tell you guys, there will be a correction. All right. Called it last time. We had that correction. I foresee another one, and it really depends on how far Bitcoin wants to take. I think there is an interdependency between the two. And speculative assets are great because they had this great volatility, but it comes from somewhere. Money doesn't just appear out the blue. The government currently isn't really printing money. So it ain't like we're having fresh money coming out of nowhere either. So it's going to come from somewhere.
Right.
And I think right now gold is just a safer bet. Will it hit 3,150? I can see it doing it. But with Liberation Day around the corner, I think this is just like a setup. So please keep your longs to a minimum. Don't leverage gold too hard at this point, because this is kind of going to be one of these inflection points.
Now, a couple of things there. One, don't forget, none of this is financial advice, guys. This is just kind of our own opinion. Two guys, talking, sharing ideas, and we, sometimes we may be right on the channel, but we're also wrong a lot of times too. So do your own research. Make sure you make your own decisions. But we just kind of try to show you the data, show you what we're thinking, and help you, make decisions on your own financial aspects of your life. But going back to the banks, yeah, you mentioned that banks, they want that store of value, and gold right now, a lot of people are going in because they're not really sure what's going on in the crypto space. Now, I think what's you heard as well. I don't know. I'm not sure if you heard this one, but the administration has given banks permission to go ahead and basically make their own decisions on what they want to do with when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin specifically. If they want to invest, if they want to, offer different funds or offer their customers to be able to get into the Bitcoin or crypto space. And I think they're a little bit hesitant to do that. And as you can see, the evidence in the gold going up. because right now the crypto space is in a wait and see kind of mode, and that's growing. Like there's institutions and now apparently banks, retail. There's a lot of people on the outside waiting for that catalyst, waiting for something so that they can all, jump in. And I think once everything calms down and there's a little bit of structure and the whole macro scene, or the whole picture just kind of calms down, everyone gets a better idea of what's going on going forward, I think you'll just see a rush into the markets. And that correction you speak of in gold, that could actually be when that occurs, because if crypto gets the green light and the market begins to pump and everybody is bullish, and you've got proper regulation and the banks are buying, institutions are buying, you're going to see that retail and other institutions that are currently in gold maybe take a little bit out of gold and into a Bitcoin. So you might see Bitcoin pump, gold correction simultaneously, and that could be part of the reason. Do you agree with that, or do you think there would be a different catalyst?
No. I think, like I said, the market structure, the ability to save BTC and even stocks, right,
Mm.
are going to play a huge role in this correction for gold, and how much of that correction is going to look like. The Chase is the only company, only bank that I saw that had any a huge fund, not for crypto, but for technology in general, which banks tend to use put crypto under. So I foresee that, again, them just being prepared for when this next surge comes. And since that had been officially announced, I just foresee that the crypto pump, or at least that crypto resurgence, should be coming soon, right? I would love for this dominance to from BTC's dominance kind of weaken. And unfortunately, all we got is more strengthening of this dominance from BTC.
Yeah.
Which means for us, ETH is going to continue on its path. Cardano is going to, again, slowly climb, but we're not going to get the same push that we should be getting. XRP is going to get the same, slowly but surely kind of climb. So I just want this dominance to finally kind of break down. The only one that seems not to care about BTC right now is Pi. So not financial advice, but yeah, Pi.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention Pi one more time. Pi.
For the algorithm, Pi. Yeah, we're going to actually show the pie chart in a second here, and we're going to go over an article as to that may explain a little bit of the price action. But I did want to show that Bitcoin dominance chart here briefly before we do. And as you can tell, yeah, it just continues to rise. We're in this rising channel now. So, yeah, we need this to break down if we want to have any kind of an alt season. But I think right now, alt season is not even in the cards. No one's really thinking about it. Most people just want their alts to return to where they were just a couple of months ago. But we are going to monitor this Bitcoin dominance closely. We need that to break to the downside so that we can get a little bit of strength in the alts. But as long as Bitcoin continues to stay strong against alts, then we won't see altcoins do have any significant rises, anything to speak of anyway. Except, well, here is the pie chart. You're looking at this chart on the daily. Doesn't look too pretty, but I mean, don't forget, this is how a lot of launches do look. You get that initial pump and then a sell off or consolidation. I'm going to actually switch this over to the 2 hour just because you can see a little bit better what's happened with the pie chart. So there we go. I did have this, around the 131 mark. I thought it was going to be a good level of support. It did ride a support for a couple of days, but not very long, and then it broke down to the downside. Now, one thing that a lot of people complained about with Pi was the fact that the migration had stopped. A lot of people had Pi that were kind of stuck in limbo. They weren't getting it sent to their wallet, and a lot of people were kind of curious as to why. But here's an update on the Pi network. If you've probably seen this on the actual homepage for Pi, the mining page. On your mobile when you mine Pi. But basically what this is saying is they had to put a pause on migrations because there were still a lot of people using text message, SMS, for the verification. And they wanted to make the verification and security a little bit stronger on the network. So what they've done is anyone who wasn't using email, they were providing an opportunity for those people to use email, 2FA verification, and so that they could use passkeys and biometrics. I myself had been using biometrics on Pi since it was available. I feel that that's one of the the most secure ways. Obviously, if they don't have your fingerprint, they can't get into your account, and of course your passphrase. Keep that written down somewhere safe in a safe in your home, or even up here in your head, so that no one can get that passphrase. But this is the other way for security that they wanted to make sure that everyone had. Because as Pi grows and as the network grows and it becomes more popular, there's going to be a lot more scammers out there. And the last thing you want is to get your Pi scammed from you or stolen from you. So they went through all that. Most people completed their 2FA and are now switched over to the email. So the good news is that migrations have now resumed and will gradually expand as more email-based 2FAs and system-level checks are complete. So that was the reason for the pause. Now, going back to the pie chart, this could explain a little bit of the price action. If you look up here, this was healthy price action after a new token is launched. You have your pumps, obviously, and then your dip as a new token finds price discovery. Now, I think what may have happened right around this area here, when was that? March 25th. So it found a little bit of support here. It was the chart was looking really, really good. Then we had this dump. We did have this pump. I guess I'm assuming this is when migrations began, continued, and there was some purchasing, buy pressure in the market. But then as tokens have been migrated to Pi users' wallets, I know we don't really like to use the phrase paper hands and diamond hands in the market, but I think in this case, the saying of paper hands fits, because as soon as people were able to get their Pi migrated, they're just selling it off, which is unfortunate. But I think it's one of those situations where we want those sellers out of the market, off of the Pi ecosystem. So that way, the only ones remaining are the ones that believe in the project, that are going to use Pi, as we shown in a video a couple weeks ago. There are different ways you can use your Pi, the map on the Pi browser, etc. But yeah, so I'm not too concerned. A little bit of a pump today. We did bottom out around here at around 69 cents, and we have come up now to about 72, 73 cents. So I guess, maybe this is kind of the bottom. Maybe all the sellers are gone and we can begin the uptrend in the price. It'll help when the market does resume as well, obviously. So Juan, your thoughts on Pi? What do you think is going on with this this token and this blockchain? Oh, you're muted, sir. Sorry.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's an exciting time to be in Pi, to be honest with you. For me, 69 cents was where my target was. So I did end up buying a few hundred Pi, because I think that it's going where it needs to be. With that being said, you can see the price went up, right? Which is my whole point of the conversation with Pi, is that even though Bitcoin overall was down, Pi just said, I'm gonna do what I want. Price went up, Pi went down, and you kind of want that, separation from the two. You don't want to always be affected by it. So for me, Pi is just reflecting that it's being in its own individual, and I'm hoping that further news comes down the pipeline on how Pi is going to continue to grow, right? And just hear me out on this, right? Like we talked about cash flow. Like, remember, all this liquidity that exists did not come from anywhere but certain investors and ad revenue. That's it. So just think about that. Right. So to me, that's just the power of Pi right there. Kind of just showing that, yeah, we are sustaining above 70 cents with nobody really like buying, right? More people are selling because obviously it's free money. So to me, it just shows it's going to be able, eventually it's going to reach an equilibrium. And eventually, as the sellers either stop selling or unable to sell, right, because the lockups, you're going to start seeing this a slow but steady climb. I'm just hoping that this is one of these equilibrium points that we can kind of take advantage of.
Agreed. And, I agree with you that we probably have hit a bottom here. As you can see, we're in this cluster here from the initial dip after launch. Now, anyone who's been in the space for a long time, when you see a token that looks like this on price action, you probably get excited, especially on a new launch, because you know that after the initial sell-off, usually the project or the blockchain comes out with some big news, or the buy pressure begins, and then the price begins to rise. As I said, it's all going to depend, for the majority of the price appreciation on the overall market sentiment. But I think this is a good indication, having Pi rise the last couple of days against Bitcoin dipping, that there is interest in it for sure. And the sky's the limit with this ecosystem. I mean, the more they come out with different projects. I know the domain auctions are still going on, and once that is completed and projects begin to launch, that's when things are really going to get exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so I think that's about it for this episode. We just wanted to bring you a quick weekend update. Don't forget, guys, in 2 days we have Liberation Day. There's going to be a lot of volatility in the market, so be prepared either way, and don't be caught by surprise about or with anything that happens in 2 days, because anything goes, and we never know with Trump. Juan, what do you think is going to what should we expect in 2 days, and what do you think is going to occur?
I will tell you guys, this whole week, be on your P's and Q's. Be mindful of when you're trading. There's news all week long. Just to kind of go through a quick recap, we have PMI 10 a.m. tomorrow. We have non-farm payroll on Wednesday. We have CPI on Thursday, and then we have unemployment rate, average earnings, and we have Powell speaking on Friday. So, like, if there's a week that you want to say, you know what, let me just sit on my hands, this might be that week.
Yeah, obviously not financial advice, but that is great. A great opinion, because I think that's the way to go, the way to do it this week for sure. Yeah, I totally forgot about all that coming out this week. So yeah, head on a swivel, guys, and just be very careful out there. Make sure you're not over leveraged, and have a bit of patience. The ball is still rolling. Things are going to get better. We just got to get through this macro storm, and then reap the rewards. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really helps us out. And turn on that bell notification as well if you are subscribed, just to make sure you get the notifications of our videos. And leave a comment below, anything you want us to talk about or touch on in future videos. All right, everyone, appreciate you. Juan, appreciate you. And we'll talk
Thank you
to
for having me.
No problem.
Have a good night,
See
guys.
everyone on Thursday.